Happy Wednesday. Welcome into the 49ers Report. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Hope all of the faithful is having a fantastic week. A lot to get to on today's show. We're going to start off with a look at the 49ers injury report. Then we're going to take a look at some staggering defensive numbers and a famous former Niner, now a podcaster and a broadcaster, absolutely loves this football team and thinks they could be one of the best defenses of all time. We're talking about Richard Sherman. First, though, let's take a look at this 49ers injury report. So a lot of guys not participating in practice today. Colton McKivitz is going to be out for a little while because of that MCL injury in his knee, so you're probably going to see Javon Moore at left tackle. Arik Armstead with that lingering foot injury, that plantar fascia, also not practicing. Tried to give it a go last week and then got pulled out of that game on Monday Night Football against the Rams, and I think it's best for the Niners because they have so much depth along this defensive line to just let him get right, because when he's right, he's an absolute force. Ty Davis-Price still out. Tyler Kroft still out. Of course, Trent Williams not practicing. Javon Kinlaw still not practicing because of that lingering knee issue. Not good stuff right there. Tarvarius Moore not participating because of that hamstring ailment. And Nick Bosa had a rest day, so he not practicing at the SAP Performance Center. Jauan, Jennings, and Dwelley limited. That's good news for Jauan Jennings. We saw him after that block come up, a little bit gimpy, left the field, looks as though probably going to be able to play this upcoming weekend. And really what's crazy about this football team, and we continue to talk about the two additions that we're going to see on this Niners roster, Jason Verrett, the cornerback, he suffered that torn ACL week 1 last year against the Detroit Lions, and then Jimmy Ward with that really severe hamstring injury. Both of those players coming off IR, and Kyle Shanahan making it official today that both will be participating in practice. Now, that's important because any team needs depth on both sides of the football, on their roster in general. But it's also crazy and pretty staggering because they are reinforcements on a defense that statistically is one of the best and could be one of the best defenses of all time. Can you imagine what happens when this offense gets its act together? My gosh, this team can be scary, not just in the NFC, but as Super Bowl contenders, especially if they get elevated play from Jimmy Garoppolo. You know who agrees that the Niners could be one of the best defenses ever? A former Niner and a guy who, with the Legion of Boom with those Seahawks teams, played on some of the best defenses of this generation. It's Richard Sherman. He said this on his podcast. This defense with the Niners is primed to be one of the best right now in NFL history. And we're about to take a look at some numbers that point and indicate just how good this Niners defense has been and what's going to slow this team down given the lack of premier talent they have at all three levels, defensive line, linebacker, and the secondary, and the amount of just really good playmakers all across the ball and the level of coaching they're getting from DeMeco Ryans, the future head coach, and Chris Kocurek, the best defensive line coach in the NFL. Why could Sherman be right? Additionally, the Niners really don't have a weakness. I mean, Javon Kinlaw is out on Monday Night Football, and they didn't miss a beat. Kevin Givens was great. Arik Armstead left that game, but the 49ers defense was still getting after it all throughout the night, pressuring Matthew Stafford time and time again with a litany of pressures, led by Nick Bosa's 14. And at the secondary spot, Charvarius Moore, Emmanuel, Moseley, we're going to talk about them soon. They're great. Linebacking core is fantastic. Dre Greenlaw had like 17 total tackles. And then the safety spot, Talanoa Hufanga, now Jimmy Ward, and Tashawn Gibson. What a revelation he's been as well. If you love this defense, San Francisco, I want you to stand up, show out, hit that thumbs up icon, and like the video. I love watching this defense ball. And in nowadays NFL, in which everything's so catered to offenses and a lot of people want to see a plethora of points be put up on the board, it's actually kind of refreshing to see the Niners play this style of smash-mouth football on both sides with that defense straight up humming. Now, how can the Niners improve as a defense? Well, there's really not much room for them to improve upon. They're giving up a ridiculous 3.8 yards per play. A correlation there, the 1985 Chicago Bears defense, which is widely considered to be the best of all time, gave up 4.4 yards per play. Yes, the Niners are through 4 games, and that was an entire season sample size, but that's the direction that this Niners defense is headed toward. San Francisco also doing a marvelous job of getting after the quarterback. This is wild, folks. The Niners are generating pressure 44% of the time. Nearly 50% that a quarterback drops back, they're getting pressured by this defense, and that's 12% higher than league average. These numbers also real. Niners giving up just over 9 points per game. Now, when you look at the overall points per game for this team, it's a little bit higher than that. Why is that? Because of that blocked field goal that went back for a touchdown against Seattle. 46 points over 4 games. That's number 1 in the National Football League. More numbers to take a look at. So as I said, even 11.5 points per game with that field goal return is still first in the NFL. Yards per game tied for first at 234.5. Yards per play, 3.8. Yards per carry, 2.9. So offenses against this defense having a very tall task at throwing the football and running the football. But I will say this about the long-term well-standing for this organization. The defense needs some help. They can only do and play at this level for a certain amount of time. At some point, the offense is going to have to come through. Niners defense, DVOA, basically measures the entire defense. Number 1. The Niners offense, on the other hand, number 16 in DVOA. There's going to be a game where there's coverage breakdowns, where the Niners don't get home on that pass rush as well, whether they're blitzing or sending 4, and they're going to give up some points at some point. Offense has to bail them out. And if this offense improves, which I believe it can, with the better running game, with Jimmy Garoppolo hitting on some of those deep shots, then you're looking at a well-rounded football team, hopefully by the middle portion of the year to the end, where they're playing their best ball in all 3 phases headed toward the big dance. Your level of confidence that the Niners can get it going offensively. Look, Kyle Shanahan's an offensive mastermind, as we've called him, because he is at times, but the offense no doubt has to be better. It's been average to below average to bad. Scale it for me from 1 to 100. 1, no confidence at all. 100, a lot of confidence. Let me know in the comment section. If you want more videos like this, great statistical breakdowns. Yesterday, we were doing some all-22 breakdowns. We pass along news, rumors, analysis, live shows, watch parties. Lock us in. Subscribe to the channel. 64,000 subs and counting. The faithful, you are the best. Now, we have seen this formula work, where the defense paces San Francisco. That was the formula back in 2019, when the defense was stellar and the offense was solid. The ground game throughout that entire year was definitely better than it's been up to this point. The pass game may be a little bit more explosive, but the hope here is that the ground game gets established and then Jimmy Garoppolo hits on some of those deep shots, because I do think that the run game can improve. This is an offensive line that going into the year we were talking about as a massive weakness. They've actually been better than expected. Aaron Banks hasn't given up a quarterback pressure. Spencer Burford and Daniel Brunskill were switching off snaps and series at right guard, but both of them have been pretty solid. Mike McGlinchey throwing that shade to Jalen Ramsey was great, and we'll see what happens at left tackle. But I do think this offense can improve as the run game gets a little bit better, and then Jimmy Garoppolo hitting on some of those deep shots. Niner fans, do you want a free Niners jersey? What, Chase? Free jersey? Yes, that's right. You have to follow these steps here to my right and sign up with our sportsbook partner, BetUS, and then we will send you a free 49ers jersey. Chatsports.com/49bet, promo code Niners125. Use that link in that promo code. You sign up, deposit $100 or more. You get a 125% deposit back by doing that. That nice little bonus gets you to $225 to game with. You make your first bet, and then you email us, jersey@chatsports.com, letting us know that you followed all these steps here on your screen, and we'll send you a free Niners jersey. Current players only, by the way. Week 5 betting odds. Niners up to 7-point favorites over the Carolina Panthers. This line opened at 5 points. The over-under, because this defense is so stacked, at just 39. You want to make your bet? Do it, and then you also get a free jersey if you deposit at least $100 or more and follow those steps. Some love to some dogs on this Niners defense. We have to do our due diligence and show some love to some guys who are really balling. Charvarius Ward, biggest free agent signing for the Niners this past offseason, $14 million per year. We talked about at the time of the signing, and we talked about throughout the offseason, analytically and with some of the numbers, this was a player who was rising, and now in this defense, he's been great. He's only given up 8 catches on 17 targets this year, and he was really good against Allen Robinson. As for Emmanuel Moseley, the cornerback on the other side of Charvarius Ward, one of the more under-talked about defensive players, not just on this team, folks, but in the NFL. We're talking about a guy in Emmanuel Moseley who did not give up a touchdown in coverage all of 2021. And this year, he's been just as good, if not continuing to improve. How about the numbers that he put up going up against Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson? First with Kupp, 10 snaps against him, 4 targets, 3 catches, 12 receiving yards per catch, or 12 receiving yards, average yards per catch at just 4. That's wild. Stats against Allen Robinson, 29 snaps against him because, they were kind of going back and forth with who they had to defend Cooper Kupp. 29 snaps against Robinson, 4 targets, just 2 catches, average 3.5. Moseley has been doing this for a really long time, and it's about time that we give him the proper respect nationally. The local fans know, and those in the Bay Area, and those who are diehards know what Emmanuel Moseley has been doing. And if you don't, now you know. If you don't know, now you know, like Biggie said it back in the day. But Emmanuel Moseley's been doing this for a long time, and in the final year of his deal, my man, he's about to get paid, and he certainly deserves it. UDFA to one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL here in 2022 and on 2021. All right, if you're subbed and still watching, before we hop on out of here, just give me a real one in the comment section. Real one, roll call. Get that in there right now. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and of course, keep it locked for Niners videos year-round.